Hey, yo, what up, though, fellas? Back at it again with another video. We improving every day. Today, we in a dungeon, aka the basement, aka where I do a lot of my neck and forearm training, but that's not what we talking about today. Today, I'm gonna show y'all how to properly set up for the barbell row in order to avoid lower back pain. Why do I need to talk about this? Because the barbell row is one of my favorite movements, but what I see too often is people doing one or two things, right? Because they don't know how to set up for the row properly, what they do is they set up for the row in a way where they put a lot of pressure on their lumbar spine. And then when they do the rows, their back is hurting the next day. They don't feel the pump in their lats or their upper back, mid back. They don't feel strong while doing the rows. All they feel is lower back pain and lower back pressure. So what do? They just say, you know what? I don't do rows because rows hurt my back. Instead of trying to figure out what the problem is. And then, you know, you missing out on hella benefits that you will be getting from the barbell row. They either do that or they do this. They cut the range of motion super short. They cut the weight hella low. And so then by that point, it's such a minute movement that you're not even putting any pressure on your back at all. So yeah, you're not getting lower back pain, but you're not putting any kind of mechanical stress, mechanical tension on the parts that should be getting attention. Mid back, upper back. You feel what I'm saying? So we gonna talk about that today. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna demonstrate your everyday gym goer setup for the barbell row, why it's wrong, and then I'm gonna show y'all the correct way to set up for the row to where you take a lot, if not all of that pressure off of your lower back and you put it in the proper areas of your posterior chain. So let's get into it. All right, so I'm gonna be demonstrating on my little easy bar that my pops gave me when I was like 13 because I don't have a real barbell. So what's the setup of your everyday gym goer when they first attempt to do some rows and they figure out, oh, these rows hurt my back? This is what they usually do, right? They walk up to the bar, no real thought of what they're doing. They just go pick it up. They come here, and then they start doing this. They set the bar down, their lower back is pumped, their lower back is hurting. And then they say, you know what? I'm not gonna do these no more. Or what they do instead is they switch the movement up to what people call the Yates row, which I usually like to call the roid row, because unless you on roids, doing that as your main row movement is not gonna do much for you. This is what you see a lot of people doing. They walk up, they might have 95 pounds on the bar, never really any decent weight for your back to really get a real nice mechanical load. But this is what they'll do. They pick it up underhand, come like this. They bend over like this, then they just start doing this. And they say they're doing a row, but in reality, all that really is just a drag curl. So I'm gonna break down how you really need to be setting up for your rows. Because what's the first issue with the average setup? They're doing this. They're doing this. What's wrong with that? That looks right, don't it? No, that's incorrect. Because what they're doing is they're bending over at the lower back. They come, they pick it up, and then this is a lot of pressure. There's a big moment arm between this weight and your lower back. That's where a lot of the tension comes from. I'm a pretty strong dude, and even just picking the weight up like that, I could feel it in my lower back because that's not how you're supposed to set up for it. So this is how you really set up for the barbell row so that you put the tension where it's supposed to be at. You got 4 words that you have to understand these 4 words. And once you understand these 4 words, everything will be a lot easier. Your back pain will go away. You're gonna have the tension where you need to have it. 4 words. Hinge at the hips. You hear me? Hinge at the hips. What do I mean by hinging at the hips? So we saw the first time when you bent over and picked up the bar, right? We did this. We did this. Like somebody hit you in the back and you fell over. That's what most people do. When I say hinge at the hips, watch what I'm doing. I'm sitting back. I'm sitting back, I'm sitting back, I'm sitting back. Now, what's the difference between this and this? With the first one, it's like I'm getting kicked in the back and I just fall over. There's no tension in the hamstrings, no tension in the glutes, nothing in the calves. I'm just bending my lower back. And that's where all the pain comes from. On the second one, I'm hinging at the hips. My lower back is completely neutral. I'm not moving my lower back on the second. I'm hinging at the hips. The tension is all in my hamstrings. All in my hamstrings, just like setting up for a deadlift. I'm here. I'm setting my butt back here, like if I was about to sit down. Setting my butt back like I'm about to touch my toes. It's very tight in the hamstrings. I'm going until it gets uncomfortable. Then what do? I bend at the knees. My lower back has not moved. My lower back is completely neutral. Hinge at the hips, bend at the knees. Then I pick it up and I'm here with it. All the tension is here. Glutes, hamstrings. Glutes, hamstrings. That's where all the tension is. Because I'm not doing this, I'm here. I'm sitting back with it. So now the bar is close to my body, it's closer to my center of gravity. What that does is it cuts the moment arm. So it's not nearly as much stress on the lower back. It's more mechanical tension on the hamstrings and the glutes. So then that's when I'm able to come, sit back, pick the bar up, and I'm here. And I'm able to stay parallel or relatively parallel to the ground, and I'm able to row. I don't have to sit all the way up here to row. I'm able to sit back, I'm here, and I'm able to row. So that's why, people see me rowing 225, 255, excuse me, while I sweat in the camera. You see me rowing 225, 35, 255 for clean reps. Sometimes I put a little body English into it, but that's okay. People ask, how do I do that? How do I do that without my back hurting? I'm hinging at the hips just like a deadlift. I'm not just picking the bar up loosey-goosey and then putting all the load on my back. Hinging at the hips. I'm putting all the tension on my hamstrings. Hamstrings and glutes. Hamstrings and glutes. Just like we said, somebody kick you in the back and you lean forward. What if somebody punch you in the hips? What if somebody punch you in the hips just like that? You will fall back like this. You wouldn't fall forward like this. You would cave in the middle. You would cave in the middle. So if that's a cue that you need to remind yourself to hip hinge at the hips, punch yourself in the hips. Your butt tips back. You will lean forward like this. And then you feel that tension in your hamstrings like when you go to touch your toes. Once you can't bend no more without bending your lower back, you bend at the knees. Some people, especially shorter people, you'll be able to just hinge at the hips and not even need to bend. Us taller guys, or if you got long legs, especially long femurs, you're gonna have to bend at the knees a little bit, but that's okay. As long as you're taking that tension off the lower back, everything is cool. So that's the video on how to prevent lower back pain in the barbell row. We're gonna talk about overhead press, good mornings, squats, deadlifts, the whole nine. So that's the topic for today, man. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel. Peace.